Welcome back, everybody. Let us talk about the Seattle Mariners and let's give them a preview for the upcoming baseball season for 2020. But in these, let's look at how they finished last year in their division and in the league. They finished 68 and 94 last year, so 24 games below 500, if math's correct. They were easily last in the AL West. They're not looking good this year. I think goal for the Mariners this year is not to lose 100 games. I It's going to be a really tough goal for them, but I think because they're nowhere near a playoff. They're not a playoff team. They're probably bottom five in the American League for just team wise. So I think their goal for them is not to lose 100 games because it's going to be a very bad year this year. There are bright spots to look for and to watch, but it's going to be a very rough year for the Mariners this year, especially their fan base. Key additions in free agency, they really didn't get a lot. They lost a lot more than they added, but the pieces they added are okay. They added, I'm gonna so butcher this name, Yoshihisa Hirano and Carl Edwards Jr. As the relievers, which I mean that's nice and all. Edwards is really good. Hirano's getting up there in age. He had, I think, 35 plus holds last year, so he's good in the bullpen. They got competent relievers. Hirano's getting up there in age, so how productive he's going to be this year's uh, questionable. I think he'll be okay. Um, he had a rough year last year with Arizona, but his first year in Arizona was really good um, when he played. So I think their bullpen, especially with those two guys, make it better. But they lost a lot of guys in free agency that are notable, and let's just start with the biggest one. And they lost King Felix. They lost the best player on their team in the 2010s, without a doubt. And it really sucks that he was on this Mariners team, and most of his playing career, he was not in a playoff hunt. For most of his playing career, he was didn't have a taste of playoffs, and he was arguably the best pitcher. You could argue top five best pitcher of that decade, Felix Hernandez. And now he's with Atlanta. He's with a World Series contending team, especially playoff team. So hopefully he can get a ring because he's one of the most liked pitchers probably in baseball. They also lost Vizcaino, another flamethrower out of the bullpen who did pretty decent last year. I believe he also went to the Braves, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and I Vizcaino did really well last year, and it kind of sucks to see him go. They also lost Omar Narvez, their power hitting catcher. Um, that's probably not the best thing to get rid of, but it was kind of they had three catchers. They kind of needed to get rid of somebody, and they chose Narvez because you got Tom Murphy, who's looking to be a good player, and you got Austin Nola as well. So I mean, you got two decent to good catchers. So we'll see how well that works out, and that'll be something to look through throughout the season. Is how's Murphy and Nola going to split time? Is Murphy going to be the full time starter? Well, that'll be something to watch out for throughout the full 162. Uh, and then final person you guys lost was Domingo Santana, I believe right fielder at the time last year. Um, with most of these cases, you kind of needed to keep him because I don't think anybody behind him is necessarily ready. Because if you look at this roster does not look good. The pitching staff looks promising, but the starting nine does not look good at all. It don't look good. Um, I mean, stuff to look for this year. I mean, they're not going to start 13-2 this year like they did last year. Everybody was talking about them being the big guy, and um, um, got all optimistic and everything, and then just came down to earth and started, and they were performing as they were expected to last year. I think, so I'm not expecting them to start 13-2. I might expect them to start 2-13, but I don't expect them to get out to the hot start like they did last year. I think though another thing to look for is who's going to be the closer for this team for most of the year. Because right now they have McGill listed as their closer. I don't think he'll be the closer. Just they don't have really a closer on their roster. You have guys that are setup men and middle relievers like Carl Edwards Jr. and Hirano and Tuivalala, but neither one of them are closers. So it might be a bullpen by committee for who's going to be the closer, which as of right now looks like the best option is a committee of getting the outs in the bottom of the ninth, not just one specific guy to look for. Players to look for this year, I think the welcome return of Taijuan Walker. I think he's underrated. I think he's got the stuff to be an ace. I think he has the talent to. It's just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't click with Walker. And it's really a shame because he's really, when his stuff is on, it's really good. And I'm happy he's back with Seattle. Maybe that'll help somehow. But I think Walker's a guy to look for. I think Marco Gonzalez, especially with him re-upping on that new contract, he's getting paid like the number one guy on that roster, and he's got number one type stuff. He is right now the number one, and from firsthand experience of watching him, he can carry that rotation. He has the stuff, he has the stamina, and he's the type of person you want to anchor that rotation, and I think he can do that, but we'll see if he can throughout the full season. And I think Daniel Vogelbach on the offense, I mean, young lefty bat who can hit bombs. I mean, that's what you look for in the American League, is a guy that can go up there, not hit for contact or anything, really, in the DH spot, and just go up there and hit bombs 600 feet. And I mean, 30 homers, 76 RBIs looks nice, but when you have 96 hits and 462 at-bats, and you're barely batting above the Mendoza line, you're not having a great year statistically wise. And I mean, struck out 149 times last year. If you could get the strikeout numbers down, if you could turn some of those strikeouts into hits, then we're maybe talking maybe a 220 batting average, which is a little bit more respectable. So, for my guess of where where the Mariners are going to place this year, I see him as the cellar dweller in the AL West. I don't see him passing anybody in that division. If they pass somebody, that means either A, they're a lot better than expected, or B, somebody's injured all to hell. There's no way I can see the Mariners passing anybody in that American League West, because everybody else in that division got better. Angels got better, except the Astros. The Astros got worse. Angels got better. A's are still good. The Rangers, they signed Kluber. They're looking better, at least on paper. Just the only team that got worse, that you expect to be worse, is the Mariners. This roster does not look like a major league roster with the guys on it. And a lot of these guys are young. We'll see how they do years down the road, but right now, it's not going to look good. No, I think they'll finish last in the AL West. But that's the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think down below about the Mariners. Do you think they'll start 13-2 like they did last year and then plummet off the face of the earth? Do you think they'll just be in last place for all 162 games? Let me know what you guys think about the Mariners. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe down below. That'd be greatly appreciated. Share this video with all your friends and buddies, and I will see you guys in the next video.